Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. I'm unusually peppy today, so I don't know why, but we'll just run with that. This video is going to be the first in a series, hopefully, which I'm going to call Media Monthly. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm going to try and keep the intro short because I think it might be quite a long video, but I just want to explain it a little bit. So basically, some of you might not know, I am a university student. I'm studying media studies at university. I'm in my third year. And I feel like that's something that's not very well represented on my YouTube channel, considering it's something that is it's my life, you know? I'm glad I'm good at words. These aren't going to be overly intellectual or anything, or maybe they will, who knows. So basically, the premise is like a monthly favourites, but not just my favourites, and only to do with media. So films, TV shows, music, podcasts, books, anything else. I struggled with the name for this series for ages, which seems so stupid now because it's like a really basic title. I was trying to come up with something that reflected what the series was about, and my like working title for it was Media I Consumed in Whatever, because I didn't want it to be like things I watched or things I listened to. I want it to be as broad as possible, like it could be anything. But yeah, I think Media Monthly is a bit more catchy. Hope you agree. I watch too much Netflix for my own good, but this month I started and finished Mindhunter.
How do we get ahead of crazy if we don't know how crazy thinks?
It is a 10-episode series, and each episode is up to about an hour, but because it's on Netflix, they vary in length because obviously they don't have to stick to like television programming. So this show has 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means that I have very good taste. For those of you who don't know, Mindhunter is kind of loosely based on real events. It's set in like 1977, I think it is. It's kind of a story of the origins of the term serial killer.
Are criminals born? Or are they formed?
And it explores kind of the early stages of like criminal profiling, criminal psychology. The show follows a couple of FBI agents who go in and interview murderers in prison, basically, with the intention of kind of further understanding their motives or their triggers or all that kind of stuff.
You want truffles? You gotta get in the dirt with the pigs.
To be honest, some of it is deeply unsettling. So if that's not your bag, probably don't watch this. But it's definitely a standout TV show for me as like one of the best that I've seen this year at least. And I watch a lot of TV. It also explores kind of the effects of spending time with those serial killers and delving into their like mental state on the FBI agents, which I think is really an interesting kind of perspective to take. It's very psychological. It also stars Jonathan Groff, who is just a love of mine. You kind of forget it's him because it's such an un-Jonathan Groff role. I know that that's kind of probably the whole point, but he's very good.
Do you think so?
So the whole of the first series dropped on the 13th of October, I think, on Netflix. So we're still fairly early to the party, which is rare for me. So, you know, you should watch it and stuff. There have been reports of a second series being commissioned. I've done a little bit of research. I can't find anything that's been confirmed, but I think because of how successful it's been, there will be probably a second series, I imagine. I don't know why they wouldn't. They definitely left it open for a second series. Netflix item number 2 is Alias Grace.
If there has been a crime, people want a guilty person. Rightly or wrongly does not matter.
This one has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I really do have impeccable taste. I was really unsure about this. I started and stopped twice, and then the third time I started it, I got much more into it. Just because I'm not very good with scary things, and I quite often find period dramas to be quite scary. I'm really scared of museums. Honestly, don't ask me why. I don't know. So I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy this, but I did really enjoy it. So it is based on a Margaret Atwood novel, who I believe is the author of The Handmaid's Tale. So this is a 6-episode mini-series. I don't think it's going to be continued. So yeah, it follows this girl called Grace Marks, who is in prison because she is, I think the quote that they use is, a celebrated murderess, which was, ooh, like, you know, just quite sassy.
It's strange to reflect that of all the people living in that house, I was the only one of them left alive in 6 months' time.
She claims to be experiencing amnesia surrounding the murders. So a doctor comes in and wants to interview her to be able to kind of distinguish whether she's telling the truth, whether she's lying, or whether she might be innocent or not.
I hope sooner or later we will bring back your memory.
I'm not at all sure I want it back.
Why is everything I watch about people interviewing murderers? The story is set in the 1800s, and it's told through a series of flashbacks, but in like chronological order. So there's like the present day timeline and then like the past timeline as well. It's one of those. And she's telling the story of her life to this doctor. And basically she lived as a maid in the sort of mid-1800s. And so it deals a lot with kind of the issues that they faced as well. So it's quite interesting from like a historical point of view. I don't know how accurate it is, but I've read positive things about the representation. So I assume that people who said that know more than I do. It's really character driven. I think it's one that really makes you think, which I really enjoyed. Again, it's a new release on Netflix. It's only been on Netflix since some point in November. But I'm pretty sure it was released in September in Canada, I think. For some reason, the theme song at the end of this, like, haunts me. It's just an a cappella, like, folk song. And they always do that. I don't like it, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And also, the final episode I genuinely shouldn't have watched alone at night. Because it was really quite scary. But other than that, it's not really scary throughout. It's very tense. But I really enjoyed it, yeah. So, moving on, since that's all been a bit heavy so far, I might as well lower the tone. Now I'm going to talk about another Netflix show, which is called Dynasty. I don't know if this is a Netflix original, it might well be.
The thing that Dad values most in the world is that company. That's what I want.
So the premise of this show is that Fallon Carrington, who is played by Liz Gillies, gets upset when her dad offers his new girlfriend the role of CEO in his company instead of her.
Family dynasties flow through blood. Wives just come and go.
So then she sets up like a rival company, and like somebody's been killed and they're trying to figure out who killed them and like what the circumstances were, and there's just a lot that goes on. It's very dramatic.
Fight me, Crystal.
Oh, please. Call me Mom.
It definitely qualifies as like trash TV, and I really wouldn't recommend watching it, but also I can't stop watching it. So it fills the Gossip Girl void, you know? It's just like mindless drama and American catfights. And sometimes that's exactly what you want. So we'll move on to films now. I also went to see A Bad Mum's Christmas at the cinema, which is obviously the sequel to Bad Mums with like Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell and people in. It was fun.
Remember when the holidays were actually fun? Take Christmas back.
So the story is like about 3 mums at Christmas time, so about like all the stresses of like decorating the house and getting the presents and making it fun, and then their mums turn up as well, and they're really like critical, and there's lots of arguments, and like, you know, I mean, it's not groundbreaking, but it was really good fun. Like, I went with Hattie, and we were absolutely crying at some parts of it. It's so funny.
You're a mom. Moms don't enjoy, they give joy. That's how being a mom works.
If you want something that's a little bit just lighthearted, it's very funny. The second film that I'm going to talk about is Murder on the Orient Express. I'm sure you know about this one. The story is there's a murder on a train.
A passenger has died.
And there was a murderer. The murderer is with us.
And every one of you is a suspect.
It's based on an Agatha Christie novel. There are lots of famous faces. Johnny Depp, Gilderoy Lockhart, Judi Dench, I think. God, I'm bad with names. So since I decided to do this series, I've been sitting in the cinema after a film finishes, just writing a few notes just so I can remember what I thought at the time. So usually they're really incoherent, and Murder on the Orient Express I watched at I think we went in at 11:30, so we got out at about 2. So I was super tired. So this is what we've got. That's a moustache and a half. Yeah.
My name is Hercule Poirot, and I am probably the greatest detective in the world.
Agree. Pipe cleaners with loads of exclamation marks. What the hell am I talking about? Oh my god, yeah. So they mentioned pipe cleaners to actually clean a pipe, and that's what made it click in my brain. That's why pipe cleaners, arts and craft pipe cleaners are called pipe cleaners, because they are used to clean pipes. Pipes, not pipes. That was a shocking revelation for me. I've also put that I couldn't get into it to begin with, but once they were actually on the Orient Express, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think it was a bit of a slow starter, to be honest. But then kind of, because you didn't really know who was relevant or what was relevant. But once they were on the Orient Express, it did pick up. Overall, I really enjoyed this film. However, I really like the kind of murder mystery films where you can make your own assumptions and your own guesses, and then you might be right in the end, or they might sort of throw a twist in there. And the twist was really clever. They didn't really give you enough to go on for you to really think it was anybody before they then revealed it. I was just like, well, I don't know. And that made me feel less invested in the film than I might have been if I was able to come up with my own theories and things. So, but since then, I can't remember whether it was Meg or Megan, but somebody's told me that is kind of a trait of Agatha Christie novels anyway. However, that being said, I do want to watch it again. Now that I know who the murderer is, I want to watch to see if there were more clues, and I think that might make me appreciate it a bit more. Okay, we're nearly done. So the first song that I'm going to talk about is How Long by Charlie Puth. It's such a jam! That is all I have to say. And the second music item on this list, and the final item on this list, is Demi Lovato's album Tell Me You Love Me. This album, whew, I actually definitely did start listening to this in October when I watched her new documentary, which you should also watch. It's called Simply Complicated and it's on YouTube. I love Demi Lovato so much. I genuinely think I've listened to this album all the way through every day since mid-October. So 6 weeks now, and I'm not bored. I don't think I've ever skipped a single song on it. I just love it. My favourites are You Don't Do It For Me Anymore, Games, Hitchhiker, Daddy Issues, and Only Forever. But actually, all of them. They're so good. And I think they're really good for yeah, I've got this kind of songs, you know? They get you going. They're good for in the car. They're good for when you're cleaning. They're good for on the tube. They're good for getting ready. It's the best album. For me, it's the album of the year. I've run out of squash, so it must be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It's just kind of chatty. I just like chatting, to be honest. So let me know what you thought. Let me know if you've watched any of these things. Let me know what I should watch or read or listen to, etc. in December, and I will check some of those out. So you can tweet them to me. I will put my Twitter and everything here. There you go. Yeah, I think that's everything really. I hope you're enjoying the Daily December series. For those of you who don't know, I am uploading a video at 5 PM every day through December. It's a project called Daily December up until Christmas Eve anyway. So if you're not already subscribed, it'd be really cool if you could stick around for that. I hope you're enjoying these Daily December videos. I am really enjoying them actually. It's fun to be making loads of stuff. I'm gonna go and listen to my Demi Lovato album now. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. as long as you love me so. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.